Destiny Payton's so-called Big D energy, getting mocked to Jaylen making some huge moves with Kimmy. There is drama everywhere, and it is literally unmissable. So grab your drinks, settle in, and make sure you watch this video all the way till the end because we're breaking down every single moment, every reaction, and every underlying truth that you might have missed. Let's start with Miss Nell and her catch-up with Trish now. Y'all know Miss Nell has a lot going on, balancing work, grandbabies, and her husband, but she made time to link up with Trish. And girl, that first time at Entice, she was living her best life, walking into the booth, seeing the vibe, enjoying herself. It was all a first-time experience for her, and she clearly loved it. But of course, even in moments like this, drama is never far behind, especially when Tisha is around. As you saw, Tisha got hyped up, probably fueled by some alcohol, and went full bold mode. That boldness crossed lines, especially when she got all up in Chris Fletcher's face. And let's be honest, that was completely uncool. Tisha's actions embarrassed not just herself, but her husband too. It was one of those moments where you just have to pause and think, why would she even go there? It all seemed tied to this pattern where Tisha only really shows her true personality when a little alcohol is involved. And it brought back memories of previous confrontations that have everyone talking now. Speaking of confrontations, there's this whole thing with Destiny Payton's so-called Big D energy. People have been talking about it, mocking it even, and it's really become a hot topic among fans. Destiny has always been confident, always willing to speak her mind. And it looks like that energy rubbed some people the wrong way. But here's the thing, her energy is real, unapologetic, and it's part of what makes her stand out. And when you combine that with the ongoing dynamics in the group, especially with Tisha's behavior, you can see how tensions rise. Miss Nell was right to feel some type of way about Tisha, constantly going back and forth, making comments, and basically trying to stir up drama. And y'all, if you missed it, last year's birthday party situation showed that this pattern isn't new. Both Nell and Tisha are feisty. But there's a difference between being feisty and being disrespectful. And Tisha definitely crossed that line multiple times. This brings us to the point where fans started commenting about Keisha, supposedly trying to be the new Melody Shari. And you can see why people say that. There's a confidence, a boldness, a way of holding herself that mirrors Melody's old energy. But here's the reality. Tisha needs to learn boundaries. Being all up in someone else's husband's face, especially Chris Fletcher, is not okay. And Miss Nell's reaction was valid. You can't just ignore someone crossing the line like that. And even Tisha's husband was embarrassed by her behavior, which shows just how serious it was. It's clear Tisha is holding in a lot behind closed doors. And maybe that's why once alcohol is involved, all of it comes pouring out. This isn't just speculation. It's a pattern that's been consistent over the seasons. Moving on. Let's talk about Kimmy and her son Jaylen. Now, this scene was something else because it revealed a lot about priorities and family dynamics. Kimmy was busy handling her husband, Maurice. And it became clear that she has consistently prioritized her marriage over her role as a mother. Jaylen came into the office with big, lucrative job offer here in Huntsville. You can see how proud he was. But at the same time, it also highlighted a gap in attention and care. Jaylen felt less seen and less loved, and in my opinion, Kimmy has failed him in that aspect. You can't prioritize your husband's needs over your child's emotional well-being, especially when the child is expressing feelings of neglect. And for those wondering why Morris didn't seem concerned, it's because, as usual, he justified his actions. He explained how he grew up a certain way, but that doesn't excuse the fact that his child felt mistreated. Parents need to acknowledge their child's feelings first before any explanations or justifications. But let's give credit. Where it's due, Jaylen is handling things like a grown adult. He took the job opportunity, counteroffered. And even though there's tension with his dad, he's showing responsibility and initiative. It's a big move for him, and if he takes that job, it could shift a lot of dynamics in the household. Maurice might not be happy because it means more accountability and responsibility. The family business dynamic is always tricky, especially with the Scott brothers involved. And honestly, watching the episodes and the live sessions, it's clear that the Scott brothers often lie or at least justify their actions in ways that protect themselves rather than being honest with their children. Now, circling back to Tisha. Her situation with Marsa and the potential cheating rumors is another layer of drama. Tisha is very much controlled and conditioned by her husband. And it's obvious in how she navigates the group and her personal life. She doesn't want to publicly address any cheating rumors because Marsa has told her not to. But once alcohol is involved, her suppressed emotions start showing, which is why her bold behavior escalates. And remember, this is not just speculation. Past seasons have shown her trying to push for counseling, only to be told no. Marsa wants to maintain control, and counseling would threaten that control. That's the reality behind Tisha's actions. And understanding that helps explain why she sometimes behaves the way she does in public group settings. Meanwhile, the energy between the women in the group, including Miss Nell, Nail, Destiny, and Tisha, continues to evolve. Miss Nell, for instance, has been very clear about needing boundaries and calling out behavior that crosses lines. Destiny's energy adds a new layer to this mix, and her confidence sometimes triggers reactions from others. Nail has her feistiness, Tisha her boldness fueled by alcohol, and Miss Nell her strong sense of respect and boundaries. Watching them navigate this group dynamic is fascinating because it's not just about drama, it's about personalities, history, and the way past experiences shape interactions in the present. And trust me, the tension is only going to rise as more episodes drop and more situations unfold. Switching gears back to Kimmy and Jaylen, I want to highlight just how significant it is that Jaylen is stepping up in his career. This opportunity isn't just a job, it's a chance for him to gain independence, show his worth, and build something for himself. And seeing Kimmy's reaction, or rather her lack of proactive support, really emphasizes the disconnect between her as a mother and her priorities as a wife. We've seen her go through cancer, and she made